What's going on, Vols Nation? This is the House of Orange. This is Frank Rock coming at you. Thank you so much for taking the time to just check out the videos, check out the content, support the channel. It's so greatly appreciated. Cannot stress that enough. This is I've done a lot of review on Oklahoma. I've looked at, or I say a lot. I've looked at film on Oklahoma. I've looked at their stats. I've tried to put it all together, and I've come up with this on. I've named Tennessee versus Oklahoma. Advantages for Tennessee. So as I've looked at, before we go any further, make sure you hit that thumbs up. You share out the content if you can to help out the channel. If you have not already, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you turn on those notifications to get them. We will be live tonight, 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. Hope to see you in there. Appreciate any and all of you for tuning in with us. The chat definitely helps, drive the channel. Definitely helps drive the live shows as well. It's so greatly appreciated. But let's get into this thing. I've looked at Oklahoma's video. I looked at specifically against Tulane this past week, as I know Oklahoma struggled against Houston. They looked good in their first game, but what stood out to me as I looked at this, as I look at potential advantages for Tennessee, is Tennessee's really not been tested at all at this point. I mean, NC State, it was close in the second quarter. Tennessee had the pick six. The game was over. After that, it wasn't even close, and NC State's offense couldn't do anything against Tennessee's defense. Obviously, the Kent State game, I still don't think we know a ton about Tennessee in terms of really how good they are. But I will say this, and I've seen it mentioned, it's a mature team who's taking care of business. They've done what they were supposed to do through 3 games, and probably even a little bit more, to be honest with you, because as some of you have mentioned in the comments, some of these games like Kent State, NC State, in these games in past years, definitely prior to Josh Heupel, we struggled through those games. Now, they're ending this early. They're in it early, getting backups in. We've seen a lot of guys play this year. For me, that helps Tennessee in terms of, number one, they're healthy. I think your guys who were out last night, other than maybe somebody that's out for the year, I think those guys are good to go moving forward. I know Lance Hurd was out. I expect he'll be good to go this week. Oklahoma, on the other hand, is down some starters. So the first thing that stands out to me right now, when you're Tennessee and you're rotating from 12 to 14 guys, Jackson Arnold through 3 games has been sacked 9 times. Oklahoma's line has had issues with protection. Looking at Tulane, look at that game. They flushed him. Now, here's the thing, too. He can run. He is Oklahoma's leading rusher on the year with 159 yards on 36 carries, 2 touchdowns on the year. Yesterday was, let's say, he had 14 carries for 97 yards. So most of that yardage has come yesterday. The first 2 weeks, he had quite a bit less yardage than that. Javonte Barnes, Taylor Tatum, both over 100 yards on the year. Tatum, 6.8 per carry. And 2 touchdowns. They only have 4 rushing touchdowns on the year. Receiving wise, they've thrown for 7. Arnold's thrown for he on the year's just thrown for 484. 7 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, sacked 9 times. That, to me, that's a big advantage for Tennessee. And based on what I was seeing on the film, or I say the film, the video on it, a lot of Oklahoma's plays, they had success. They were hitting balls in the flats, hitting the running backs in the flats, a little bit of across the middle stuff, but nothing deep. Nothing deep. Didn't seem to me like Arnold had enough time to actually throw the deep ball. If you're Tennessee, you got to be licking your chops on that one. And I know Tennessee only has 4 sacks on the year. Teams are just getting rid of the ball. They're just getting rid of the ball. They're not even, there's not even time back there for these teams to just sit and wait. They're getting rid of it quick. They're not giving Tennessee a chance to get in. But at the same time, Tennessee's front 7 and even their defense, I think every unit of this team has looked really good so far. They're making plays quickly. That, to me, is a big one. That's a big one. 9 times sacked in 3 games. And it didn't seem to me like Oklahoma, I mean, some of their plays in the flats that they run at the run back, they run some RPO, some play action. They're going to have to do that and get it out quickly. But if you're Tennessee's linebackers, Pilley, Carter, T. Lander in particular, that's Tennessee's main 3, you're going to have to be able to cover the flats. your Boo Carter, your Christian Harrison, or whomever. You're going to have to be able to cover in the flats. That's going to be big for Tennessee. Can some of the ends for Tennessee move out and cover, or are they going to be on Jackson Arnold like stink on crap? Again, Arnold, OU's leading rusher. To me, they only have 4 rushing touchdowns. Both teams 6 penalties each. If Arnold's able to get time, which I don't see happening, sure, he can make some things happen. I really think Oklahoma's going to have a hard time scoring on Tennessee. I really do. If this defense keeps doing what they're doing. If I'm Tim Banks, I'm Willie Martinez. I put Jermon McCoy on Deion Burks. That's Oklahoma's main receiver so far on the season. He transferred from Purdue, 22 receptions, 169. The next closest yardage-wise is their tight end, Bauer Sharp, at 10 catches for 80 yards on it. That just seems to me like a big matchup for Tennessee. McCoy on Burke, and we'll see what McCoy does. I think McCoy has a shot to really hold his own on that one. Watching Oklahoma's defense and watching Tulane against them, that was a ball game going into the fourth quarter. It was 24-19 with about, I'm thinking I saw 10, 11 minutes to go, and Tulane had the ball with the chance. They got down into Oklahoma territory, and their quarterback made a bad decision going backward, and he ended up fumbling the football. Now, Oklahoma, an advantage for them, they do have a +9 turnover ratio. So they have forced 10 turnovers on the year. They have played the closer games if it gets into that, where Tennessee has not at this point. Those could be potential advantages for Oklahoma. Oklahoma's defensive line, they do have 11 sacks. So they do get after the quarterback as well. And I was watching on the tape on the video when Tulane's offense was on. Seemed to me like Oklahoma sends blitzes pretty, and maybe I'm wrong on that, but just the highlights that I saw, plenty of guys coming off the edge. So to me, if you're Tennessee, I think that 12 personnel, if they run against NC State with the tight ends, they may be able to hurt Oklahoma pretty bad on that one. But I saw some moments where you left Oklahoma's DBs one-on-one. Tulane got some room on them. Their quarterback just couldn't make the throw. You give Nico some time, and Tulane, I thought, did a pretty good job on a lot of those, picking up some blitzes, picking up their line. If you give Nico time back there, he can pick this defense apart. But, to me, something they have to avoid, Tennessee has to avoid 3rd and long. Every time Tulane had the 3rd and long, Oklahoma played more of a zone and dropped back on them. So you're not going to be able to hit that, but you may be able to hit some stuff across the middle or short. And if you get it to a Dylan Sampson, you hit maybe one of your tight ends, one of your playmates, a Squirrel White or somebody, you might be able to make a little bit of something happen in that regard. But what I saw on Oklahoma, I was not impressed with them. But I know they have talent. It's going to be night. It's their first game in the SEC. They're going to be amped up for it. But I'll tell you what, I think Josh Heupel's coming in. I talked about this last night. I'm recording this on Sunday night, so if I misspeak on this, I'm sorry about that. Josh Heupel, though, he's going to be hyped for this one. He's going to be hyped. He was let go out there at the end of the 2014 season. I talked about that on the rivalry in the making. I kind of look back at the 4-game series between them. He was let go at the end of 2014. Lincoln Riley was elevated. Lincoln Riley became the heir apparent to Bob Stoops. So many things could have been different. What if, Heupel had not been let go? That offense would have taken off. They still averaged over 36 points a game the year he was let go. One of the articles I read said he was a scapegoat basically for the problems. When Oklahoma's offense ranked pretty high, their defense did not, but their defense was Bob Stoops' brother was running it at the time. Things could have been so much different. You could have possibly seen Heupel at Oklahoma, but things happen for a reason sometimes, and maybe it allowed him to get out and do his own thing, come into his own the way he wanted to as well. So basically, to kind of wrap up on this, what I see for Tennessee, their defensive line. If you keep doing what you're doing, I think Jackson Arnold's going to have a tough night. Jackson Arnold's going to be very sore on Sunday morning. Oklahoma's down linemen. Again, they've given up 9 sacks in 3 games. they've only rushed for, let me go back to it, 477 through 3 games. So, yeah, they're, about 127 yards per game. They won't get that on Tennessee. They won't get that. And a lot of that last week, too, that I was watching against Tulane was broken tackles. Tennessee appears to be, from what I was reading really just a few minutes ago, they've only missed 1 tackle from their linebacking spot this year, and that was last night, or 2 nights ago, whenever you're listening to this, from Keenan Pili, and I think he's been good so far. Keep Jackson Arnold in the pocket. He can get out and run. That's where he made Tulane pay some, was they got pressure, but he was able to escape and get away and get some yards. He had a touchdown late that kind of put that thing away for Oklahoma. You keep him in the pocket and don't allow him to get up and go. It's going to be a hard night. And I feel like Tennessee's defensive line, especially, we talked about it last Monday night with Kerry and myself, because he talked about the NC State game, how Rodney Garner, Tim Banks, these guys, they're rotating in fresh units. I totally expect they'll do that again Saturday night against Oklahoma. Oklahoma's going to be in for a rude awakening when, well, the first team goes off, first team defensive line. Here comes another one that hits you right in the mouth. They go off. Here comes your third team that can hit you right in the mouth as well. I don't think teams know how to prepare for that until they see that. And I think it's a rude awakening for teams. And I think it'll be a rude awakening for Oklahoma as well. Keep Jackson Arnold in the pocket. Don't allow him to get out and run on you, because that's where Tennessee could run into issues. Cover the flats. Cover the flats. And if you're a linebacker in the middle, or if you're Boo or Christian Harrison or whomever, stay home. Okay? I've put Jamal McCoy on Dion Burks. See how it goes. I don't think Tennessee's specific with matchups, though. So if they move, Burks around, it's probably going to be whoever ends up on him. But keep Oklahoma off of Nico. That's going to be a key. They have 11 sacks on the year. But again, based on what I'm seeing, will Tennessee run some 12 personnel? Will Tennessee get out and get these one-on-one matchups and let their receivers go to work? Will they let Brazel, Thornton, Brew? I think Squirrel's going to be more of your middle guy. I expect tight ends to be able to have a good night. And what about Mike Matthews? How's he factor in after what we saw of him as well? And the big thing to me is, give Nico time, avoid 3rd and long. That's where you go around into issues if you're Tennessee. I'll give a prediction more. We're going to talk about it tonight on the House of Orange Live at 7:30. We'll talk on that. We'll give a prediction tonight, and there'll definitely be more content as the week goes along. But thank you so much for tuning in, guys. I cannot stress enough how grateful I am for the support, for you guys tuning in on here. This channel's not even possible. It's not possible without your support. It's just not. So thank you for that. If you want to say thanks and support the channel, there is the super thanks in the bottom right-hand corner. There's 3 membership tier options as well. Members, if you listen to this, shoot me an email, orangeswarm10@gmail.com. I did make a post on that. I've got a content idea I'd like to involve you guys in if you're a member of the channel, so please contact me on that one. And, like always, just make sure you hit the like, thumbs up that you share, and make sure you turn those notifications on as well. I hope you have a great rest of your day. This is Frank Rock. This is the House of Orange Sports Channel. And last but most certainly not least, go Vols.